Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start this show off the same way we start every show off, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing a million other things with your time, so the fact that you spend it with us truly does mean the world to me, so thank you. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cutting me, loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right, and we're back. Okay, I'm excited about our guest today because he's a return guest. He was talking about one thing specifically last time, but we got off track a little bit, and today we're definitely going off the rails. So on that note, as you know, I don't introduce my guests. I let them do that themselves. So, sir, can you please tell everybody at home who you are and what you're about?
You bet. Thanks for having me back again. I'm excited to be here. I want to say again, I really like that you do the moment of gratitude and really make sure that your listeners really feel welcome and being a part, that they're taking the time and you thank them for it. So that's fantastic.
Thanks, man.
I'm Alex McKenzie. For most people that remember me from last time, I was a councillor candidate in the municipal election that we had just recently. I didn't win, unfortunately, and I know why that was, but it was still a fun experience, and I'm really glad to be here. And today we're just gonna shoot the breeze a little bit, I think.
There we go. Yeah, like the moment of gratitude, I truly do mean it. Like, it's kind of on autopilot in regards to, like, I know what the words are, but it's like saying thank you. It's just a longer version of saying thank you. But yeah, the fact that people watch this show blows my mind.
That's amazing. And
so,
and you still say it with the same energy as if it were your first time.
That's right.
And so
that's
it's
right.
Like, because I watch the show as much as I can, and it's still got the same real in-depth energy. Like, it's just that true sincerity.
I would say it has more energy now than at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the numbers are bigger, and it keeps blowing my mind that people watch it. But it's a genuine moment of gratitude. And so, and I kind of start my day off like that in general in regards to, like, hey, we're lucky to be here. You're lucky to wake up every morning. Like, you gotta be grateful. A little bit of positivity never hurt anybody.
Absolutely.
So, all right, my man. Last time we were here, there was one topic of discussion that I wanted to delve into a little bit more. But you said you were born and raised in Edmonton.
That's right.
And then you moved here. Tell me a little bit about Edmonton. I lived in Edmonton for a few years when I went to college. But what part of Edmonton did you grow up in?
I grew up primarily in the Mill Woods area.
Oh.
So that's southeast. We lived there. Like, I was born and raised there. When I was younger, we moved around quite a bit.
Okay.
Just
in that area, though?
Well, throughout Edmonton, all the way through. Now, I don't
Okay.
remember a lot of places we lived because I was just a little tyke. But
Right.
and then we lived out in the country for a couple years, and then back into Edmonton, and then it's been south side for the most part. Okay. Edmonton's always been home for me in one way or another. I still got a lot of family out there.
Yeah.
But I remember it as if it were yesterday. The day it was like, I'm done. Too big of a city.
Yeah.
I like cities about this size,
Right.
where you still can get what you need. Primarily, it's a little bit tougher here
Yeah.
than other cities of our size, but you still get everything you need in a big city. We don't get the hustle and the frustration and all the challenges.
Right.
But I remember specifically the day I was driving. It was down White Mud Drive, just crossing the river going south, and it was it was a winter day or so.
Yeah.
A little bit snowy, and for whatever reason, people driving around, they were just idiots.
Yeah.
And after being cut off 3 or 4 times, and
Right.
it was a busy time, and it's always 30-40 minute drive to get to anything.
Right.
And it was just that moment where, like, I'm done with the big city. Don't want to do it no more.
That's right. It's kind of nuts that you say that because I remember as a child going to Edmonton, and it was a bigger city than Fort McMurray, obviously, but it was nothing in comparison to what you see in Edmonton now. It was a city. It wasn't a metropolis. Like, Edmonton is big now with lots of people,
huge.
Very busy.
I left
Constantly
15 years ago, and it was too big. And I see areas where when I was a kid, we'd party in the field.
That's right.
That's now South Head Common.
That's right.
There's a big
That's
movie
right.
theater there.
That's right. Yeah,
But we were there as kids, as teens.
Yeah.
Bush partying and all the rest. It was a farmer's field.
Yeah.
Just outside where I lived, along 34th Street was a cemetery, and it was all bush out there, and we'd be out there and
Right.
and racing cars around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was just all bush, and now there's still a mile and a half of city to go before you get to that threshold again.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
I was in Edmonton actually just the last weekend, and noticing along the Anthony Henry Freeway, it's all built up right up against that now,
That's
which
right.
is unbelievable,
It's unbelievable.
for me, just how much it's grown.
Yeah. I remember I went to a wedding out in Black Mud Creek.
Okay, yep.
This is years ago when I was like going to school, and the couple that got married in the rugby field out there. And like we drove out there, I was like, "Where are we going?" Like it was literally like it was a road, but then it turned into like a dirt road at some point.
Yeah, well, that was the rugby plug.
Yeah.
And that was beyond outskirts.
Yeah, that's right.
You had Heritage Mall area, which is a train station.
Yeah.
And then you went over a little rickety bridge, which was 111, and then there was
right.
the rugby field.
That's right.
And that was the Edmonton Rugby Club or something like
Yeah.
that. Because
And I'm
I had
thinking-
buddies that played there, playing rugby there, and now
And now my in-laws live there. They live like, I'm not going to give the address, but they live in that area and in Ellerslie, and it goes further than that now as far as like the residential, and it's unbelievable the growth that Edmonton has had over the last like 20, 25 years. Unbelievable. So when you go to Edmonton though, it's a topic of discussion. Obviously you lived there for a while, you just went back. Is there certain places you like to go eat while you're in Edmonton? Because I've got my go-to jams in Edmonton.
You know, I don't go to Edmonton enough to have places to go. My sister actually just introduced myself when I was there this weekend to a great little place on the north side. It's called Hot Philly.
Okay.
And they do,
I've never heard of them.
it's like Philly cheesesteak and stuff like that.
Oh.
And I went in there and I saw the menu, and that's like their go-to. Her and her other half, they've been going there for a long time.
Okay.
And I'd never heard of it my whole life. Apparently
Right.
it's been there forever, but it's on the north side.
That's right.
I never deal with the north side of town ever. I don't have any reason to be there.
That's right.
So we went for lunch there, and I grabbed a burger because it seemed good. And I'd seen someone else have a burger. I'm like, I could get behind a burger.
Okay.
And then she had this Philly cheesesteak bun, and I looked at the burger. I'm like, I made a poor choice. And it was just sauce and meat and the bun and all the rest.
Okay.
And like it was just wafting the smell, and I was looking at the burger. I'm like, and it was a good burger. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I was really regretting choices at that point. I really should have had that. So
What's the place called?
it's called Hot Philly.
Hot Philly. Okay, I need to remember that. Good thing we're recording. I can just
Yeah.
watch it
You
back.
just look back at the video.
Yeah. Because I like Edmonton. That's my thing to do when I go there. There's certain places like one of my favorite places to eat is Meat on White Avenue. Another one is Next Act, right next door to Meat.
We're gonna have to get you at Vaughn's.
Yeah, I've never been to Vaughn's. I've driven by it many times.
They have Wagyu.
Yeah, have you ever had Wagyu steak?
No, I don't think I've been privileged for that.
My goodness me. So
Will it ruin me for steak?
100%.
It'll ruin you for meat.
Yes,
Oh.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. So myself and Tanner were just down in Calgary, and we went to a restaurant. We had Wagyu steak. Tanner's had it numerous times, and he's like, "Elliot, you got to do this."
I've had it twice before. I am not that baller.
No. So we went there, and it was definitely not cheap. I'll say that.
No, probably not.
It was not cheap, but I have to say it was an experience in itself. It won't ruin steak for you because you can't really even compare it to steak. It's so
Just a different level.
Just a different level.
Okay.
The best way I can describe it, and this is going to be a horrible way, and I know I'm going to get hate on the comments for this, but to me, it tasted like you think Japan would. Like, it tasted like Japan to me in the best way possible.
No, that makes sense. Like there's like it's a lot of flavor that like separates itself. Like you taste one thing and then the next thing comes and you taste that and then the third thing that you taste.
Yeah.
And Japan is very renowned for like flavor separation and like how they make their food so like precisely and dedicated. And so like I could see that.
Yeah. So if you ever have like $150 to $200 kicking around in your
just
pocket,
floating around.
just like
Always burn a hole in
buy
my
a piece of
pocket.
meat.
My suggestion as somebody who does not have that money floating around is if you have that much money to spend and you are in front of that steak, you buy it because it is life-changing.
Yeah, it is very good. So
I was just worried because like I'm a steak guy, and now in my household we go to like local ranchers
okay,
and we get our meat butchered. We just bought a quarter cow,
okay,
so
Cool.
And we go down that road.
What
and,
quarter?
The delicious part.
I don't know how you split up a cow.
I don't know either. It's we split it with some friends of ours over half cows. So
Yeah.
I don't know, the way I imagine they take a saw and just right down the middle.
Yeah.
There's your half, there's
There's
yours.
your half.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
The price tag said quarter cow, so that's what I go by.
That's
quarter
what you
cow.
go by? Okay.
But we do that, and now going and getting like store bought or what have you, it's almost
same.
like a downgrade.
That's 100%.
So if you're saying, well, Wagyu is way up here, and I'm already getting fairly
Yeah.
picky about what I like to eat for my meats, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, if I'm up here, well, I better start making more money because that's all I'm going to be eating.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the local rancher guy, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'll show you a picture after the show, and you'll get it.
Okay.
Like if
I
you
wanna
like
see
your
it.
meat, you'll understand it. But yeah, anybody at home, if you have the opportunity to eat it, mind blowing.
Also, anybody listening, if we can get it here in Fort McMurray, I will pay for it. So like, hook me up.
Yeah, it's something
Well,
that
there
you
you go.
can't, like when we were down in Calgary, I called a number. Obviously, I knew it was a high price item, and so not every steak house
No.
would have it. So I was calling like I don't know, whatever, 5-star restaurants for steak in Calgary, and most of them were like, no, we don't have it. We don't do this. So it's not something that you can just
I would imagine it'd be hard
Show.
to find anyway.
Yeah. So, but we found a place, and it was awesome. So, I want to talk to you about something, and I know you want to talk about it as well. Like you ran for the election,
That's right.
you weren't successful.
No, I got a good outcome from it.
You did?
Based on it's just true support as
Yeah.
opposed to however else people voted, right?
Yeah.
It was a good outcome, and I was actually very happy with it.
Yeah.
Obviously not the result I wanted,
No.
because I was aiming to get that job, but for one, I would say it's the hardest I've ever worked for a part-time job. That's 100% true.
Facts.
But really, I think I could boil it down to probably one major fatal error,
Okay.
which would have been underestimating how long it takes to door knock.
Okay.
I did all my own door knocking. Like,
Right.
some folks had volunteers and stuff, and that's mainly in the mayoral roles and stuff like that.
Right,
But
right.
on the counselor side of it, there's 24 of us, so
Yeah.
drumming up support it got a little bit difficult because there's just so many of us. Right?
That's right. That's right.
So I did all my own door knocking.
Right.
So in my mind, I thought, well, you know what, I could get around Beacon Hill. I could do that in 2 days.
right.
That was grossly an underestimation.
Right.
It's probably a solid week for 6 or 7 hours, because I might be able to do 15 houses in 15 minutes, just going because they're not home or not interested or whatever.
That's right.
You get that one person that is truly interested and want to know what you stand for, what your opinions are.
That's right.
They'll draw you down for an hour.
That's right.
And I didn't want to be that person to say, well, I'm out of time.
That's right.
Thanks for talking, bye-bye. I
Yeah,
want to have that conversation with the folks at the door.
right.
I want to hear their stories. A lot of folks, when I was, especially in Beacon Hill, there's people that had been there since it was built
That's right. Yeah.
back in the 70s.
Yeah.
So when I go in there and I said, well, I'm a 15-year resident.
Yeah.
And they said, well, I've been here for 45 years.
Yeah.
So I'm still a baby in town.
That's right.
So what am I bringing to the table that they don't have double and then some of the
Right.
experience living here?
That's right.
So it was great, not that end, because I asked their opinion. Well, you've been here so long.
Right.
What do you see, or what's changed, or what's better, what's worse? Get their perspective on it.
Yeah.
I got some really great stories out of folks.
Yeah. Well, it was a good experience for you too. And like what I liked about the last time you came on was you were saying like you were part of all these boards
Yes.
already, and you
Yeah.
were doing that in preparation because you knew eventually you wanted to get here.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you had all this body of experience that you felt would help because it would translate because you put the time in. And I feel like this was exactly that as well in regards to you've put the time in, you know what it's like, and if you choose to run again or for something similar, well, you have this body of experience that you're like, okay, I know what I did this time.
Yep.
I know the tweaks to make.
Oh, exactly. And that's, and I fully intend to run again.
Yeah.
It was, as I said, it was a great experience. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about people as well. It's amazing the kind of people that come out of the woodwork
Yeah.
when they truly believe that you bring something to the table that they want. So yeah, I fully intend to the next election. We got one for sure in 4 years.
Yeah.
It's always that potential. There's one sooner, so
Yeah.
I'll just keep my ears open for that.
There you go.
But
Sweet.
definitely looking forward to running again. A lot of lessons learned, and frankly, I didn't win, but I didn't lose either. I just learned. Get
That's
the
right.
ahead, right?
Great attitude.
So,
Now, Tanner is waving the cue to me that the Max City Minute questions are ready on his behalf. So we're just going to throw it to Tanner. Tanner, hit him with the Max City Minute.
Alrighty, question number 1. What was your favorite part of coming to Fort McMurray for the first time?
well, I would say none because my first time visiting here was not positive. I think I mentioned that the last time. I saw probably the worst that this town would have. So I guess I could spin it that way and say, well, all the bad stuff was done and out of the way, so it's only up. It's only good from there.
That's how I live my life. Question number 2. What is something that Fort McMurray has that you think the world should know about?
That's a good question. That's really insightful. We have a great community and great opportunity. I hear it all the time. A lot of people say it, where it's probably one of the only places you could go as a young person, as anybody, and progress your career or progress your skills or what have you in a fast track pace, and do well at it, and make some decent money at it, right?
Yeah.
Not to get that cliche that it's just a money town, but at the end of the day, you can escalate yourself quite quickly.
Yep.
And be very successful in a very short period of time. And I don't think there's anywhere else that I've ever been that you can do that.
Yep.
So that's definitely probably one of the main factors that differentiate this.
Yeah, for sure.
Question number 3. What is the story behind the best meal that you've experienced?
One of the best meals I've had would have been in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Actually, well, there's 2 of them.
Okay.
One was not the best meal, but I'll get behind it anyway. And then the other one was probably one of the best meals I had.
Okay.
So I was in Oklahoma City for work. It's a number of years ago. And the guy that was hosting us, they have they've got the Brickyard, or I can't remember the name of the neighborhood, but it used to be old meat packers and stuff like that. Now it's all restaurants and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
Meatpacking district.
yeah, I wish I could remember the name of it. It's just outside of downtown Oklahoma City.
Okay.
The fellow that I was being hosted by was fantastic. He took us to a few monuments, and we drove around, and he showed me a lot of what Oklahoma City was. And then he took us to this little steak place. He's like, okay, well, are you interested in learning, some of the stuff we like to eat? I'm like, I'm not that adventurous in my palate, but I didn't want to be a jerk.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, let's do it. So he's like, okay, well, he ordered a plate of lamb fries.
Lamb fries.
Yeah. And he didn't. He's like, do you want to know what it is? I'm like, probably not.
Right.
So we take it in and get a plate, and we had steak and stuff. I was like an appetizer or whatever, and the steak was amazing. It was really good. I don't think it was Wagyu beef like we'd mentioned, but it was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So he's like, we're eating away, and you're just chatting away, and I could see kind of a smirk, but no big deal. And he's like, do you want to know what it is? I'm like, not really. Yeah. He's like, well, I'm going to tell you anyway. I'm like, okay. He's like, well, those are lamb testicles that we chop up and fry. Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, now that I know, I can't unlearn that.
That's right.
But now that I know I've had balls in my mouth.
Yeah. Was it good?
It was actually really tasty. I enjoyed it.
There you go. That's all that counts.
So that was kind of the adventure side. And I knew something was up. It wasn't going to be something I wanted to know. And he couldn't hold it anymore because I was like, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
The other one was an Italian restaurant in Oklahoma City. It was just before my flight out, and I was a little bit hungry.
Yeah.
It was on the west side of town, and this gigantic building, not a lot of people. It was just a mom and pop Italian restaurant, and probably the best Italian food outside of Italy that I'd ever eaten before. And for cheap, I had 2 beers and a whole plate of pasta and stuff. It was like $5.
That's
awesome. It was
awesome.
amazing. It was so good. And then the only other place that I've really was interesting was in Italy as well. I was out there for work, and we were staying in, it's what's called the castle, but it was originally built by the Duke of Milan as his summer home.
Okay.
And so it was his summer house, and a big, huge building and stuff like that. And it was built, I have no idea, probably like medieval times sort of thing.
Right, right.
And
1300s.
oh, it had to been. Yeah, it would have been, yeah, something like that. And it was in a small town outside of Voguera. And just the architecture, just the whole ambiance of the area, just being in such an old building. Like they had trees in the courtyard that were twice as old as Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I've never experienced anything of that kind of magnitude. Now to them, like we were out there and they're demoing a barn for some development, and it was a rustic looking one, and we're like, well, why are you tearing down this history? And the Italian I was with, he's like, well, it's only like 200 years old. It's not even old. It's just in the way, right? Because for them, they've got stuff that dates back. Like if you're in Milan, they've got buildings and such that are from like 900 BC.
Right.
Forts and stuff like that, and old monasteries and stuff like that. So that's what's old to them.
Yeah.
So that was it's just a whole different experience
For sure.
being there than it is anything here. We don't have anything that has that kind of age to it.
Right.
Especially as you go west in Canada. So
That's right.
Alrighty.
long story short.
Yeah. Long story long. I love it.
That's been your favorite meal.
Yeah.
Question number 4. What is one local amenity that you think locals should pay more attention to?
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, there's lots. We've got, I don't want to say I feel bad for the restaurants here, but my heart goes to them because they've been so empty. And it didn't really clue into me till going to Edmonton and Calgary, where the restaurants there are full and they're thriving and they're doing well. And here they're always empty, and it just doesn't have the energy. And I know they try. And so, I really hope that, folks here get out and start visiting. I know there's a lot of challenges, of course, but that's only temporary.
Yeah.
We'll get past it. That's no big deal. But, I would say, our restaurants, and it's I think it's a downward spiral as it is, because nobody goes because there's nothing there. So then they close, and then there's less, and then it just goes down. And so I don't know what the answer to that is, but I sure hope that we find a way to go and frequent our restaurants, because they're trying so hard.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And your final question. What is one thing you learned about the community from your run from council?
A lot of knowledge and history. There's a lot of people that have lived here a long time. And recently I've been really, really in tune with the history of the town.
Yeah.
There's the Facebook page there that I can't remember the guy's name. Larry McCardle, I think, Northeast, and he just posts all the pictures.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just all the history of watching as the town grows up. And as I've got around, like say going through Beacon Hill and such, and waterways too, where there's people there that have lived there almost their whole lives. Right. And just hearing the stories and of just how the town has grown and turned to what it is. And it's a very unique, I think we have a very unique history here, because it's been very it's an overly boom and bust town. I think now we're in a more mature environment in our economy and with the industry, stuff like that, that we're not going to see those cyclical movements in our town. But just to hear the stories of, and some of them recent stories, like we still have lots of trappers that live in town, and lots of folks that just have seen how the town's progressed, and it's really helped me build a deeper, larger understanding of the history of the town, so that I'm just a more well-rounded resident. I'm never going to catch up to those that have been here their whole lives, but at least I can carry a conversation about it somewhat.
That's exactly it. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Those have been your 5 questions.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tanner. That was fun.
It's the history is
deep.
nuts. Tanner always kills with the questions.
Those are deep.
I don't try that hard, but I'm glad that some people get that reaction from it.
All prepared on the spot.
Yeah.
Zero preparation.
In under 10 minutes.
Yeah. We had a comment a few days ago on one of the videos. They're just like, that was a great interview. Did that guest get questions, or was it scripted? Because it just was such a natural conversation. And we just wrote back like, I can assure you, there is no preparation work done for any of these shows.
No,
It's just organic conversations,
it is.
right? So, and like the guests don't know because they weren't here, but you and I were just hanging out talking while the cameras were charging for about half an hour. And this is just like dovetailing into that conversation.
Just an extension of what we're chatting about.
Yep.
It just keeps moving along.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I know last time you were on the show, because I like looked at the time marker last time, we were at 27 minutes when we ended. I know we went over the 20 minutes this time. It'll be interesting to see what we're at. But we're at the end of the show. 20 minutes definitely flew by, and we went right through it. But at the end of every episode, everybody gets a shameless shout-out or plug. So the camera's on you, lights, mics. Have fun.
Oh, mine. My shameless shout-out is actually going to be to the legislative staff, or the legisladies, as they're sometimes called. That was coined by Will Collins, and so I'm going to give him credit where it's due, but I use it all the time. But they're the legislative staff that manage, and like the mayor and council and all the council committees and stuff like that, and the boards, they'll all vouch for this as well, as the hard work that they do to keep things going. And they are definitely a lot of the behind the scenes crew, but I think they, for the most part, are why things run as smoothly as they do. So I want to use this time to just go out and just personally thank them for all the hard work that they do, and just keep on going.
There we go. Awesome. Good shameless shout-out or plug, my man. Mm-hmm. Definitely come back again.
I want to.
Definitely come back.
This is fun.
It totally is. I love chatting with you. So
We'll do one with some booze next time. I think that's a great one. See where that goes.
I'm never going to say no to that. Never. All right. For McMurray, Wood Buffalo, the rest of the world, that's been another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really does mean the world to me. Hopefully you're having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.